pleasure for sure to talk to KnowledgeHut. I definitely feel that, I have found my personal ikigai, driving my passion in day-to-day lives. I think how many of us are blessed to do that? Because I feel that what I do on a regular basis is, and I think in due course of time, I have become really good at what I do. But I think I really love what I do. And I'm not saying for the heck of it, because each day, it could be in learning and organizational development itself. It's been nearly 15 years for me, but not a single day is the same. All right, every day either I'm learning something from someone else, or I'm just humble that people are learning something from me. So yes, overall 15 plus years of experience in learning and organizational development, and my core expertise is leadership development, coaching. I really enjoy coaching, and coaching a lot of middle to senior leaders. I do a lot of freelance coaching and pro bono coaching as well. A lot of people who may want to jump into the mad corporate world, especially students and things like that. I really enjoy talking and coaching them, and develop a lot of content. And I myself is an ardent learner, so every 2 years I think I'll have to learn something new. I keep pushing myself. And the days sometimes I get also complacent, and those are the days, I don't like it, because sometimes, you also have to do your regular stuff, regular desk work and whatever you call it. You get into the rigmarole of things, and then all of a sudden I get that knee-jerk moment, Korobi, you're not learning anything, what's wrong with you? And then I have to find out the most challenging either a certification or something which is going to challenge me, and just get into that. So I think I've trained myself, and that has kind of helped me, because I think if you are going to be part of L&D, and if you're leading L&D pillar from an organizational standpoint, you got to be absolutely always keep sharpening your saw. So that is a quick nutshell about me. I'm presently working with Eurofins Scientific as a L&D head, and yeah, it's been 5 months, little less than six months to be honest, and I'm thoroughly enjoying what I'm doing. And yeah, that's in a nutshell, a short thing about me. Feel free if you have any specific questions. When I look back, by qualification, I'm a master's in economics from Madras Christian College, and I was pretty much always good in academics. Always wanted to top the class or something in those lines. Little nerd in that way. Wanted to have my name carved in the honor of the board, and also got awarded by Governor of Karnataka. I pursued my master's in economics because I think I really love the subject as economics, because it's a very logical subject, and it is always relevant and it's always dynamic, right? However, after my qualification, I joined Accenture, and that is when, and I think sometimes in life you get 2 to 3 different choices. And, it's not that God doesn't give you options. God gives you 2 to 3 different options, but what option you go with, that's where your life leads to. So at the end of the day, it's the choice that you make. So I think going to Accenture, I met the right people at the right time, and they were just forming, learning as a team way back in 2005. And they thought that the head of the learning thought that I have a flair. I could talk to people, and so they just put me there, and I was pretty much good with the product that we used to sell, and which was insurance product. And they realized that, yeah, she has very good flair because she has a subject matter expert, and the way she articulates is something we are looking at. And then they realized that, since she's so good in communication, why not experiment her with other stuff? And that's how the learning piece came into picture. I started co-facilitating with the senior facilitators, and then they realized that no, she doesn't need to co-facilitate. I think we can just give it to her completely. She has her own style, and then of course they invested on me for a lot of different certification, and then the people management came to me, and slowly I started climbing the ladder. But at the same time, I think it can only happen when you yourself is very passionate, because people can see that, right? People always see that, whether you're really enjoying what you're doing or whether it's just a facade you're putting up, right? So I think people around me, or my colleagues and my peers and my bosses, they would have seen that I'm really enjoying what I'm doing. And I think that is what I tell everybody, and for all of us, right? Do what you really, really love. And if you have not found that as yet, don't worry. Don't be disappointed, but always try to find something which really excites you, which really gives you goosebumps probably sometimes, that's how my journey started in learning and development. And after that, I don't think so. I have turned back. And after that, Epsilon happened. I was working as a learning partner in Epsilon, solving a lot of interesting problems for strategy and insights team, and very specific to a particular tech pillar, designing a lot of programs at an org level. So I think you always learn new things, but you also need to always ask yourself, is it this that I really, really want? And I think even most important thing is, what is it that you definitely don't want? Figure that out first, because otherwise you will be probably fulfilling somebody else's career ambition and not yours. So find that out. What is it that you definitely don't want to do? Because if you have to go, what is it that you want? There could be a long laundry list. Yeah. The kind of options we all have today is insane. Absolutely insane. I mean, and that is when you as an individual or as a professional, I think individual, let me stick to that. As an individual, we all need to cancel all the noise around us. First thing is to understand ourselves, need to have that very high self-awareness. What is it that I really, really like doing? What is it that really appeals to me? What is it that gives me a sense of purpose? I know these are very big words, but trust me, I think simple at the same time. Could be big words, but pretty simple. And we need to carve some time out to, be a little more reflective around ourselves, around our career. Come on, we can't be doing a job which we really hate every day, 8 to 10 hours, which simply means you hate your own life. So just do the maths. You've got to really like, if love is really great. If you are one of like me, you love, fantastic. If not love, at least like, but you can't really hate. I mean, if you really hate what you are doing every day just to have to pay your bills, I think that's a serious concern. Absolute serious concern, right? And that is why firstly I would say figure that out. What is it that you are really good at? What are your special talents? Yeah. And I'm going to give you a very candid example. When I was growing up and I was in my class 10th, that is the time you have those 3 streams available for you, right? Arts, commerce, and science. And as I said earlier, I was a pretty good student. I had very high grades, and I could easily take any streams that I wanted to. And I had an immense, pressure. I could say peer pressure or family pressure, because, my folks wanted me to pursue science, because that time those are the very limited options that we've had. And you could either be a doctor or engineer. My grandmother thought that I'll make a very good-looking doctor because I'm tall and fair and whatnot. So I think I should be a doctor, right? So anyway, I gave in to the idea. I took science, and trust me, Shruti, I was there only for 7 days. I attended this 5 days class, and I realized that I'm just not being myself. I'm just not enjoying this. I'm missing my economics. I'm missing my English literature. I'm missing all the other arts, very specific to arts. And I knew something was wrong, right? And I did not know what to do about it. I just mustered up courage and I sat with my family and said, hey, you know what, this is what I'm feeling. I don't know what it is, but I'm not liking what I'm doing. I think my calling is, I want to take up arts and to really excel in that. And my father is like, are you crazy? I mean, there are hardly people who get such marks, and there are people who want to pursue science, and you have easily got it and you don't want to. What is this? And I said, no, Dad, this is what I really want to do. And my mom kind of stood by me. And the next week, they came with me, and they got that changed from science to arts. And I think that was my first step, and I never regretted that. And I realized that how much I love what I'm doing, how much I love what I'm studying. And I think not everybody may not be so courageous, because sometimes you got to be courageous. You got to be a little selfish for yourself. Because if you're not loving what you do, you're going to be very upset and a sad individual. And that is going to have a trickle-down effect on your family, right? So it's like a chain. So you got to be a happy soul first, right? That is the first thing. The next thing is there are a lot of assessments available right now. If you still can't figure it out, there are a lot of coaches are available, career coach who could help you identify it. What are your special skills? What is it that you really enjoy doing? And because a lot of options, as you rightly mentioned, we have available. So probably people could go in that way, do assessments and talk to a career coach, figure that out, and then probably go, with what is it that you really want to do. And very specific to learning, I think, if you are somebody who really wants to pursue very specific on learning, there are a lot of certifications available. CPLP is one, ATD is another. But before you even invest in those certifications, because those are expensive and time consuming, I think you should first, and in any organization that you are, there will be an HR team or L&D team. See that if you're able to add some value to the team, either by preparing a content or facilitating it or doing anything, and just be part of it, participate in some of those activities and slowly build network. I keep telling people it's very important to build network. Never get complacent that, I've been in this industry for 20 years. I don't need anybody. No, don't have that attitude. Always build network. When I say build network, it could be with anybody who's been in the industry more than you. It could be with anybody in the industry who's just entering, because you also need to learn what are some of the new skills which you probably don't have. We have so many options that everything is just with a press of a button. Everything is right there for you, and that also makes us impatience and things like that. But I also believe that it's good to be impatient at times, because you probably need to understand when you need to be impatient, right? But I think even more important question to ask yourself will be, everybody has their own unique individual journey, professional journey. And though as human beings, we are very used to comparison. That's the first thing we do. We start comparing. Try not to do that, because, the other day I was watching a podcast, and in that podcast, the speaker said that, each of us in the entire universe are so unique, you don't, the uniqueness is 1:4 trillion. I mean, no matter what your brother, or even if you come from the same parents, you probably have a lot of siblings, all of you will be so unique, so different from each other, and that kind of got my attention. All of us are so special. And sometimes we don't even realize that we are so special, but we still want the same thing. I mean, we don't realize how special we are. We tend to compare it with probably our neighbor or a friend or a colleague. And we also need to understand that, people don't always share the difficult part, right? What you probably see is a very paintbrushed picture that people want you to see and feel the way you're feeling, so you got to be wise and decide for yourself, what is it that I really want to take from this? As I said earlier, as human beings, we tend to compare ourselves, but don't get bogged down by only that comparison. Look at also the other things that you are probably blessed with, the other person isn't. Okay. And we don't do that. And that is why that, anger, frustration sets in, because we only see the positive thing the other person has and we don't, right? Not vice versa. So also develop that. And it's good to be impatient when it comes to learning, when it comes to achieving greater things. Please be impatient. It's good, but don't be obsessive about it. Be a little more mindful. And I think balance it out beautifully. It should not be at the cost of your sleep, or it should not be at the cost of your own personal energy, because you also need to prioritize yourself first, right? You can only achieve so much. If your health is at stake, you won't be able to achieve. When I say health, I definitely mean mental health as well, right? I think that is so important. We all have understood during this pandemic, isn't it? So I think just keep that in mind first. If your health is in shape, I think everything else can wait. I firmly believe that all of us should have a mentor, right? And you don't really need to have one mentor. You could have multiple mentors, but you must have one or two or three or multiple, because trust me, life is too short to learn from your own mistakes. You might want to learn from somebody else's wisdom who's already been there, done that, right? And never shy from asking from help. Never shy away from, if you need a help, just go ahead and ask for help. And I have always done that. I know it's not easy though, let me tell you, let me be very honest. It's not easy to ask for help, because you always think, is it the right time to ask for help? We tend to overthink, right, when it is about help. But I think what I've learned is only when you ask, only when you seek is what you're going to get. So be courageous and ask for help, seek for more insights, more perspectives. And that's how I have always found people. And trust me, I have always found people because probably I took the first step. And that is what I tell everybody. You need to take probably one or the two steps. Don't expect people will come to you, but eventually they will, because they will see your intent, right? But you definitely need to get started. And it could be somebody in your workplace who's very senior to you. It could be somebody who's just your peer, but that person is really good at a lot of different things, and you personally want to learn those particular skills. For example, when I was working in learning team in Accenture, there were a lot of people who were very good in content designing. So that's one particular team, very good in content designing. I was pretty good in facilitation. And I realized that content is something I definitely need to pick up, the art, to understand the flair of how do you build a story and how do you influence audience with your story, the way you create content, right? So I worked with a person. I ensured that I had multiple mentors who were probably my peers. And that's how I added that skill into my kitty. Similarly, every time I met somebody who's probably managing programs beautifully, who's a certified program manager, or who's probably not certified, but has been doing that job for many years and really good at that, I wanted to learn more. So, and I think all of us need to do that, because nobody is perfect, right? We don't know. We always will need people, and I sometimes always feel that we don't ask for help. Sometimes the help is just right under our nose, but we don't reach out, we don't communicate. We are so busy with our multiple apps in our phones that we just shut ourselves in a shell. But the help is right under our nose. We just have to reach out and just talk with the right intent. And I think that is what has constantly helped me, and be vulnerable at times, and that's when I say we are not perfect. Just tell people when you really need help, show your vulnerable side to people. And I think if you are able to do that, that is a beautiful way to connect with different individuals at different levels.